Hi everyone. Today we're going to be trying out some very simple but very effective pelvic floor yoga moves in order to help relax the pelvic floor and hopefully reduce any pain that you might be experiencing. So the first pose that we're going to try is called child's pose. So for this pose, first come to a hands and knees position and bring your feet together and separate your knees to about the width of your mat. Put your arms out in front of you and slowly lower your hips to meet your heels and really try to get the hips down to meet the heels or as low as you can go, but just be very gentle about it. You should feel a nice stretch in the inner thighs and in the low back. And just stay here for a few moments and settle into the pose and relax. The next pose that we're going to try is called reclining bound angle pose. So from child's pose, slowly come back up to hands and knees, and then find your way to laying on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the ground. And from here, just let your knees open out to the sides and relax out to the sides gently as much as you can. And you can just rest your hands on your lower belly. You can close your eyes and just really try again to relax into this pose. Reclining bound angle pose is really good for stretching the muscles and the connective tissue throughout the perineum region, so the area around the vulva and also the area between the vulva and the anus and also the anus as well. And this can really help with those more superficial overactive pelvic floor muscles. So just stay here for a few minutes and enjoy the pose. From the bound angle pose, the next pose we're going to move into is called happy baby pose. So still laying on your back, bring your knees back up to a more upright position from the relaxed position they were in with bounded angle. And then bring your knees up to your chest, and then from there straighten out the lower part of the leg, so your feet are up towards the ceiling, and from there you can hold on to the bottoms of your feet if you can reach while still keeping your head on the ground. Otherwise you can grab your calves or your knees and just really let the legs sort of settle in and relax down and really get a nice stretch in the inner thighs. This position, also if you can do some deep belly breaths while you're in this position, can really teach you how to relax the pelvic floor muscles and get some sort of opening in the area. So go ahead and give it a try for a few minutes with some nice deep breaths. You could even rock side to side to also, if that feels good. And let's stay here for a few minutes. So the next pose, moving from happy baby, is a pose called cat and cow. So for this, we need to come back up to our hands and knees. Make sure that your wrists are under your shoulders and your hips are above your knees. And first, you'll take an inhale in and arch your back and sort of look forward, really try to open up the chest area. And then with the exhale, push down through your hands, round your back, and let your head drop down. And we'll repeat going back and forth between cat and cow. So inhale and come back into the cow pose, so your back is arched and you're looking straight ahead and your chest is open, and then you'll come back down into the cat pose with your exhale and round the spine and let your head drop down. And we'll repeat this a few times. And this pose can actually improve any symptoms associated with urinary leakage, urgency, and frequency, as you're gaining a little bit of core strength in this area, but also it can relieve pelvic pain as well. This rhythm and this interplay between your lumbar spine and your pelvis, the coordination between your low back and your pelvis, as well as the mobilization it brings to the upper spine, all helps to increase mobility throughout, but also specifically in the pelvic region, which can be relaxing, but also can be strength building as well. And our final pose is going to be reclining twist. So find your way to laying on your back with your head facing up towards the sky or the ceiling, and bring your knees up. You can bend your knees with your feet flat on the floor and stretch your arms out, straight out from your shoulders, and just have them resting on the ground. And from here, take your knees and drop them to the left side, and take your gaze, take your head and look over your right shoulder. And this is a helpful pose to relax the low back and also feel a bit of a stretch in the abdominal wall. So while your knees are off to the left side, you should feel a little bit of stretch on the front right side of the body, as well as in the lower back. So we'll stay here for another couple of moments, and then we can transition to the other side. So bring the knees back up straight and the head looking straight up, and then bring your knees over to the right side. So let them drop off to the right side, getting that nice stretch, and let your head gaze and turn to look over the left shoulder. So now you should be feeling a stretch in the left front of the body as well as in the low back. And go ahead and just enjoy the next few moments in this pose. Do some nice deep breathing, and let's bring some flexibility and mobility to this area, because sometimes as these muscles tighten around the pelvis, the low back, and the abdominal walls, it can cause the pelvic muscles to tighten as well. So this is a nice chance to relax all of that area. I hope you enjoyed moving through those yoga poses with me today. And just remember, this is another tool in the toolbox as you may be working through some pelvic pain and are finding ways to relax and add something to your daily routine that is pretty easy but has a lot of great benefits.